Power cable thefts have been grabbing the headlines for the past months. Large quantities of copper cables have been stolen by cable poachers in recent days, plunging large parts of the city into darkness. Who are the people stealing these cables?
Intambo ziqamunywe ngetesti ntambama.
Sasilele savuka ekuseni sokuqhunywa intambo zilenga lapha emayadini, and then abezesa babe bazo-disconnecta the whole area, amagetsi.
But what happened, as you can see from there, kule cable A1 phansi engafanani lezinye, which is aluminium. They stole 2 of those cables.
Ngiphumile nsizinja zikhonkotha ngabo 22. Angaphuma lalesisa ukuhle ngaphuma ngeza ukuthi hayi lo ngaba ngumuntu zikhonkotha umuntu ngeza sebedonsa intambo lezade beziqumile bese lapha ncha ukuthi enxebe ngethuka.
In the last few days there was a cable theft in North End, there was cable theft in North Vale, there was cable theft in North Lynn and Trinance and in Burnside.
Into siyabola phela kathesi inyama yami ibolile nje yabona umlilo lapha ade ngizama ubholisa inyama.
Could there be an organized cartel at work? Why haven't the arrests resulted in a reduction of cable thefts?
Notice that there is a link between the thefts that are happening within the area.
Ngabantu abebesebenza kusesa basibephuma
beqala ukuzoqhuma amagesi baqala ukuthala ethi khonapho ubona kubhandishwe khona.
Who is doing all this? If it's not an inside job, who is doing this?
There are many more questions that residents would like ZESA and the police to answer.
I cannot rule out the involvement of our staff.
As Zimbabwe Public Police, we don't point fingers without evidence.
Bulawayo is plagued by copper cable thefts, with suburbs like Newton West, Hillside, Rangemore and Gwabalanda being some of the most affected.
Okunye okwenzekeleyo kulamasela afikileyo a few months ago befuna ukuzowisa amagesi phambi kwendlu yami la. Fortunately just across the road kulondoda ofuye izinja ezinkulu ama bulldogs zakhonkotha kakhulu. Umnikazi wendlu liyana walunguza wathola ukuthi bese befakilele sebegada phezulu befuna ukuqhuma intambo zamagetsi. He released one of his dogs. Yaxotshanisana lamasela la, amasela na habaleka bawise ama-tools ezezi. Ingwegwe eyodwa liyana lekhada bakuwisile lapha umntwana wakudobha. Izinto lezana zilama-serial numbers ezezi. Wakudobha wabiza amapolisi bakuthatha bahamba lapha. So I tried to ask one of the police officers ukuthi selenzile yini follow up ukuthi serial number lana ivele kusiphi store. Wakhanye sithi khona i-follow up yenziwe. Sokutholakele ukuthi kwavelela kuyiphi store. But since then they haven't come back to us ukuthi bazositshela ukuthi kwavela kusiphi store. The same thing yenzakele futhi ngale kwemakhosi ground. Bathi betshontsha izakhamizi abadisturba babaleka futhi bachiya ama-tools ama-serial numbers futhi. But still amapolisa haven't come back to us ukuthi bazositshela ukuthi i-serial number leyo ivelele kuyiphi store. Into esiloke siyilindele from our police ukuthi bazositshela ukuthi kwavelela ngaphi. Bese sizame ukuthi sithi thina njengezakhamizi senze follow up. But basically they are still doing our investigations. Thina sim, as it is, we are still waiting.
Salibonani, ibizwa nguJoseph Nyoni, siseGwabalanda la. Into enzekalayo some almost a month back satshontshela intambo lapha from that post to that post lapha. What happened is sasilele savuka ekuseni sokuqhunywa intambo zilenga lapha emayadini, and then abezesa babe bazo-disconnecta the whole area, amagetsi. Now what happened is we had a problem yokuthi intambo zi-replace. So what we did sahlangana njengezakhamizi savumelana ukuthi sizozithenga kanjani lezi ntambo. What we did sa-enquire abantu bezesa bazosithethela ukuthi ama-measurements ethu ame kanjani, basinikeza i-quotation. Then i-quotation yakhona sasesi-divide imali yakhona ukuthi ihambisane lezi zindlu ezi-affected ngokuhamba kwamagetsi. So sesenze njalo sa-arrange ukuthi sikhiphe imali, sasesibhadala imali sahlanganisa $2 per household. Then sesenze njalo sasesikhamba-ke sayathenga intambo. Sithe sesithenga intambo sabuya lazo lapha ukuthi bazosifakela laba bezesa. The challenge saba layo lezi bantu bezesa on that particular day bathi abala petrol yokubuya la. So I had to come back again and reconvene the community so that we can come up with the actual amount to sithenge fuel. Then we arranged that and then they came the following day. Bazosilungisela ke amagetsi. Sathenga intambo ze-aluminium. The story was singabuyisela i-copper, it will be stolen again. So they were saying sithenge i-aluminium because lezi eziyi-silver lezi as you can see azifani la lezi eziphezulu. So lezi ezingu-2 eziphansi yi-aluminium esayifaka.
Kukhulumela indlu le intambo liyana laliyana but first day kwaba yini kwazi ukuthi vele sebecithile vele bazophinda futhi lapha singazi ngapha ukhompana ngokuqondana kwakhona kodwa indawo zaba yilezi zombili amaviki amathathu. So after that abantu sabona ukuthi abantwana besikolo asisela lokuhamba uchathisa ezindlini too vele kakuvunyelwa ngithi lakho ukuhamba lokungena ezindlini ngesikhathi lesesinje so but kwasekusiforce ukuthi senzeni sihambe singena sicele ebantwini labo babengavuni isikhathi esiningi so sahlala abantwana baluze ukuhamba esikole ubhala uyabona ngoba khathi sesibhala ngamafoni abantwana sebefunda ngamafoni right lathi thina ukuthi si-charge vele sasesingasela ama-connections yabo ukudla asikhulumi khona nje ukuthi izwena inkuni yazithenga akulali sasesipheka ngamahlanu wonala khona yibo bunzima esabutholayo kakhulu.
As you can see from there kule khebhu eyi-1 ephansi engafanani lezinye which is aluminium. They stole 2 of those cables kumele abe yi-2 phansi laphayana ngama-ground ama-cables lawana. So amagetsi aqhubeka elokhu ekhona around the area because if you remove i-ground kuyasala kusebenza kunjalo. Waqhubeka then the following day sokusemini sokusiya emini yantambama that's when I realized ukuthi intambo leyana babeyiqume that side yasalile ngasembona ukuthi intambo lezana ziyalenga so ukuthi bebeqhuma intambo lapha abantu labo ebusuku. Then that's when esaqala khona ukutshela umakhelwane kwa-report emapoliseni abuye amapholisa the following day bezo-check-a ukuthi uhambe njani. So from there abezesa babuya bafika basicishela amagetsi bathi akwenza ukuthi sisebenzise amagetsi kungela ground. So it was unfortunate futhi bathi bona abalazi intambo zokureplace lapha. So it's either we wait on a very long list engathatha years or sisithengele intambo and they did say ukuthi babengela futhi le fuel at the time kwakumele futhi sisithengele le fuel bekuye bezosireplace.
Areas like Bopoma have also not been spared by cable thefts, and the thieves are becoming emboldened by the fact that they seem to be getting away with it.
Bafika bakhatha i-tower light. Ngizagxila kilo i-tower light but ngisaqala ngilandise what happened day after sebekhathe i-tower light. Ulikhatha i-tower light babesenzela ukuthi kube mnyama ukuze be-attack besitshontshelana ama-cables. Beqala ukuzophuma amagesi baqala ku-tower light khonapho ubona kubhandishwe khona lala. Yikho lapha baqhuma khona intambo ukuze i-tower light licishe bese lesiyaqhuma-ke ama-cables. Ukubhandisha lokhu sasenzela abantwana sabacela ukuthi kababuye lanxa i-tower light lingakhanyi kababuye bezovala la sisenzela abantwana ngoba abantwana bayadlalela khona. So bazadlala beyengane kuthiwe kasijoyinise ukuze i-tower light linjani likhanye sesiluza impilo. Yikho sathi babhandishe bevale lapha sisenzela abantwana. Sathathelwa ama-cables ibanga elikhulu kakhulu ama-kilometers angikhona emakhulu ngoba isigaba sethu siya-stretcha. Bathatha baze bayafika emagrosa lapha esithenga khona sasiku-dark area. Then what happened sesibone kusenzakala njalo sayengeja izesa there and there babuya together lamapholisa ngoba kwakukhathiwe kwawiswa konke lama-poles ukuthi we nearly lost a family ngoba ipole lana kwakumele liwele phezu kweflethi kwenye indlu. Fortunate enough lawela eceleni lagxila ngomduli. Sithe sesingeje izesa lamapholisa babuya bazothatha ama-statements with the hope ukuthi izesa izabuya izosilungisela there and there. Azange kwenzakale njengenkangelelo yethu.
Ilayini le yayiqunyiwe yonke le ilayini le usiyafika le ilayini le ithatha amagesi from i-transformer le isisa ngayo, then kule transformer le efida le amaflesi la ngapha ifida i-transformer le konke kwakukhathiwe konke la kwaba mnyama isection yonke le yazojoyinisa ku-transformer lana kwakusenza ukuthi lalana amaflesi angale la kube mnyama sibe yi-circle. So i-circle so singathi i-circle le yayithathele yonke yiyo yayi-affected. Yikho ubona kulamapholi phansi la. Amapholi la bayenza ukuthi besahe ngoba insimbi yayingasareplaceki bafaka ipholi le i-wooden pole ngoba lapho basebesafile ipholi bathi selilifitshane.
Who is stealing these cables? And where do they sell them? Is the ZRP doing everything they can to catch these criminals? We spoke to the police to find out what progress they had made in investigations and arrests of suspects.
I'm Inspector Abednego Ncube, the Bulawayo Provincial Police spokesperson and the Public Relations Officer for Bulawayo Province. The issue of theft of copper cables in Bulawayo, of course, we started realizing it in the eastern suburbs, particularly the peripheries. But of late, the whole of Bulawayo is being affected. We realize that even places like Entumbani, Njube, within the localities, within the residents, copper cables are being stolen. Of course, we are having places like Hillside, Newton West, and all over, people are targeting copper cables. They used it to target the overhead copper cables, but they are now even targeting the underground, where there are those posts they dig and rip off the underground copper cables and they steal those cables. So almost all the areas in Bulawayo are being targeted. We cannot single out one particular area, but however, we can say the peripheries, especially the eastern suburbs.
Cable thieves target areas in the city outskirts. Newton West has become a common target area for cable thieves. Some houses have been going for months without power.
Ukusuka kwakhe abantu besisa babuya kanjani baphuma zengezikade zilekile bathatha bahamba kuthi uthi amagetsi nxa bekhuluma kade yela bathi atsho intambo ziqamulwe nge-Thursday ntambama. Into siyabola phela khathesi inyama yami ibolile nje yabona umlilo lapha ade ngizama ubhoyilisa inyama. Into okuningi kuyabonakala. So kuyi-5 days now. Engabalungisanga kodwa babonile ngoba babuyile bazekhipha yena le ikhopha bese bazabuya befakani e-aluminium abakabuyi babuye ngesandi emini zekhipha ikhopha le. Ende kukopa kangikona bachiya futhi eyinye ukuthi amasela la azabuya futhi enjani ethatha zona izintambo ezithu ezekopa. Mina ngokubona kwami wensithi ngcono bese bekhipha ikhopha yonke bafake i-aluminium. So angazi ukuthi lezi bazithiyela lezi ezinye lezi bathe bayabuya end this week ukuzefaka. So angazi ukuthi babuya nini. Sesikwanisa 5 days singenamagetsi la.
I'm Mrs. Ndlovu, the Vice Chair Lady of Newton West Residents Association. We have been facing power outages and power conductor cables a lot in Newton West of late, and it's become an issue of concern to us with what is really happening on the ground. As a result of this, we have gone for almost 2 months without electricity. Of late, I think maybe just, let me not even say 2 months, it's more than 3 months, because in the first 3 weeks before everything happened, 3 weeks we went without electricity. ZESA came to fix electricity, but in their fixing of electricity, I think they didn't fix everything properly, and we remained with power outages for 2 months after that. So we are very concerned as Newton West residents, because day in and day out, we are getting reports of conductor cable thefts and people going without ZESA. And some of us are going out without ZESA to an extent that we have stopped even our farming activities because our boreholes are not working. The question that we are having as residents is, what is really happening? Who is doing all this? If it's not an inside job, who is doing this, who's knowledgeable about what is happening on ground? Because no one offhand can just come in and cut off cables without the knowledge of the electrical activities. These are all the questions that we are having. And the occurrences are constantly in the area. Who is, if not the ZESA contractors on their own, who are actually harvesting the cables? Who is doing it?
We spoke to Engineer Jaji to hear his response to these complaints.
Okay, the name is Engineer Lloyd Jaji. I'm Acting General Manager for ZETDC Western Region. I cannot rule out the involvement of our staff, but the statistics of those apprehended in the last 3 years, I think it's only last year, but one where we apprehended one of ours, but the remainder have been outsiders.
As Zimbabwe Public Police, we don't point fingers without evidence. On our records, we don't have any tangible evidence or anything that is linking ZESA employees to theft of copper cables. Those people that you are arresting are mere criminals. And let me tell you that all those people that are being arrested, save for the 3 that came from Harare, they are all from within Bulawayo. And they are staying within our places. You'll find that someone is staying from Jube and is stealing in Newton West. Staying from Entumbane and stealing in Pumula. But the locals or the neighbors, they'll be knowing that those people are stealing copper cables, but they opt to keep quiet.
Obviously, the people we catch will be intending to give them to someone. But then once we catch them, we surrender them to the police. What I know for certain is that we have intercepted a number of vehicles intending to cross the border into mainly South Africa, in rare occasions, Botswana, but mainly South Africa. So that is probably pointing at the copper being taken out of the country to South Africa.
Okay.
And some of the vehicles that have been apprehended, even in Bulawayo here, will be having South African registration numbers. I don't know whether they are genuine, they are meant to mislead us.
We spoke to Honorable Nicola Watson, Member of Parliament for Bulawayo Central Constituency.
And it's hugely topical. If I think of all the groups, the WhatsApp groups I'm in for the various areas and residents, there are constantly, every day, if not 1, 2 or 3 reports on groups of cable theft. In the last few days, there was a cable theft in North End, there was cable theft in North Vale, there was cable theft in North Lynn and Trinance, and in Burnside. So really, it's a huge issue for everybody, quite frankly, and it's included me. I haven't